Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for a film that I don't think a lot of people are going to see, but they absolutely should, and that is Upgrade. And what Upgrade is essentially about is we center on this futuristic world where basically pretty much everything is controlled by technology, including cars and tables and things like that. Everything pretty much is controlled by them. And basically, we center on this one character, Gray Henson. He's someone who is kind of scared of how much influence technology is really having. He can't really avoid it, but he's just very sort of pessimistic about it all. And one day, him and his girlfriend, him and his wife actually, while they are taking a drive, they end up in this very serious car crash because their car actually did get hacked into, and basically she ends up dead. He, on the other hand, is given the chance to basically become a paraplegic human through this device called through this new device that he has implanted in his head. And basically this device gives him the power to basically upgrade into something much more powerful and things like that. But things really do start to go awry once the device starts to take control of Gray, and that's really all I'm going to say. So, Upgrade overall, I was really interested in this movie. I thought this looked really original and different, and especially for Leigh Whannell, I was happy to see he was doing something that wasn't actually a horror movie. It was more of a sci-fi film, and I thought this definitely looked like something really clever and really interesting, and thankfully, that's what this is. I don't think Upgrade is the amazing masterpiece of a film that everyone's pretty much calling it to be, but it still is a damn good film that is highly original. And sadly, I don't think it's going to get a lot of attention, but we're just getting into right now, starting off with the cast. And right off the bat, that is definitely one of the best things about this movie. I think the cast here is overall very strong, but easily the standout of this movie, and someone who I think is definitely going to get talked about after this, is Logan Marshall Green as Gray Henson. I've always really enjoyed him, but he hasn't really had that one big role that has propelled him forward. If this film gets the attention that I hope it does, I think this might finally do that, because he is fantastic in this movie. He really does undergo a pretty big arc within this film where, like I said, he starts off and he's very much against technology and things like that, but he becomes more and more powerful as the film goes on, especially once his wife is killed, and he kind of wants to try to avenge her death and things like that. And he also really shines in some comedic moments. He's not just some very stoic type protagonist. He really is very witty and a lot of fun, and you can definitely tell that Logan Marshall Green was really enjoying what he was doing here. I thought he was fantastic in this film. He genuinely has some really great scenes, and I thought for sure he pretty much stole the entire film. He was absolutely fantastic, and like I said, I think after this, he's definitely going to be getting a lot more attention, or at least I hope so. And then everyone else here I thought also was very good. Betty Gabriel as Cortez, she's like the main policewoman that's basically hunting down all these murders and things like that, and she keeps getting entangled with Gray. I thought she was really good. Harrison Gilbertson, I actually really enjoyed. He's basically the guy that gives Gray the idea to put the chip in his head, and I really liked his character. They took him in a direction I really wasn't expecting, and I thought he did a really good job. Even some of the side characters, like some of the criminals that we meet in this movie, I thought, honestly, virtually everyone was really good. There really wasn't anyone here that I thought wasn't giving it their all, and I definitely really loved the cast. I thought everyone did a really great job. But now let's get to the directing and the writing, because, like I said, going in this film, that was the thing I was most interested with. Leigh Whannell is not a director that I would expect to do something like this, but he really did a great job. One of the things I think he does best with in this movie is how much it deviates from his other films. Films like Insidious and Saw, those films are very dark, and there's not really a lot of humor in them. This was really Whannell's chance to just have a lot of fun and just go all out and go crazy, and he absolutely does that here. Am I saying this film is completely silly all the way through? I mean, it definitely is at points, but it's a lot more lighter than some of the other stuff he's done, and I think it greatly benefits from that. One of the best things about this film is that it really doesn't take itself too seriously, especially with a really ridiculous premise like this, and I think that the humor and the fun, it was definitely there, and I thought there was actually some really good dramatic moments as well that I thought were very well realized, and I thought his directing was really spot on, and I really did enjoy what he did here. Like I said, it's not something I'd expect him to do, but after this, I really want to see Leigh Whannell continue to do films like this, because he's definitely one of those type of directors where it seems like he can do pretty much anything, and I think he's definitely doing a really great job. But the writing also very much impressed me. I really did love the writing here, just the story in general. Like I said, it's wacky. It really is very silly, and it goes into some really ridiculous territory, but again, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and the actors that are in it are very much game, and I think that the story is interesting enough that you really can buy it, and you really can go along with it, and I thought they did a very good job with that overall. I really love getting into the idea of STEM. That's the chip that's in Gray's head, you know, what STEM can do, the kind of abilities that it gives Gray, what it really does for him confidence-wise, and some of the best scenes in this movie are just those two interacting, because STEM is on a whole other level than Gray. Like I said, Gray isn't this tough guy that, you know, is used to beating up people. No, this is a very quiet guy who was like a mechanic and things like that, and he really never thought about doing something like this before, and I really love getting into that. I thought his transformation was really good, and like I said, his character is very well handled. I really love the places that he went, and I thought they did a really good job with that. The world building here as well is great. I really did love getting into this world. We'll get more of that in the cinematography, but I thought it was very well handled. There's been a lot of films lately that they try to do these futuristic settings, and they feel very rudimentary, like we really didn't need them in there. They don't really feel like they have a place in these films, and that they only did that to popular, you know, basically to popularize off of the success of like Blade Runner and things like that. And here, it actually felt like, yes, we couldn't really have had this movie unless it was in a futuristic setting, and I thought they handled that very well. However, this film is still not perfect. Like I said, there definitely are a few problems here and there. The biggest one being that besides Gray, none of the other characters I really felt all that attached to. Gray was a really great character. I did like Harris Gilbertson, but they felt very underwritten. Like Betty Gabriel, she's simply just the cop that wants answers, and she's trying to track down Gray. And I felt like they could have done a bit more with her personally. Like, what is her true goal here? Why is she so obsessed with this? Like, I really felt they could have gone more into her, and they just really didn't. And don't get me wrong, Betty Gabriel is fantastic. I mean, we all remember her in Get Out last year, and this is definitely not on that level, but she still is really great, and I think she does do a pretty great job. Harris Gilbertson, you know, he does have a good arc, but I just didn't feel as attached to these characters as the movie really wanted me to be. It just felt like they were important for sure, and they definitely were interesting characters, but besides Gray, I just didn't feel as attached to anyone. And also, going back to Gray, I did actually feel the first half of this movie was kind of rushed, like him and his wife's relationship. It just didn't feel as fleshed out to me. Like, we very quickly, we get into it, and they get into that car crash very early on, and I did definitely feel like they could have dived a bit deeper into that. Like, we could have gotten more into their relationship, and we just really didn't, and it did feel just a little bit underwritten. Again, the film is so entertaining, though, that a lot of those flaws aren't really that big of a deal. The cinematography here is among some of the best I've seen all year. Like I said, the world building is just great. The detail like put into the cars and the table, it's just very well thought out. You really want to go into this world. This is something that feels tangible. It feels like something that, yeah, this could definitely be plausible. We could definitely end up in a future where technology pretty much controls everything. It's scary, especially the way it happens in this film, but I do think it actually was very well handled, and I did think the world was overall really engrossing. Like, I really want to know more about it, and honestly, if they were to make another movie within this franchise just to flesh out the world more, I would honestly be down for that, because I want to know more of, like, what's going on besides just this one town. What does the rest of the world look like? And I'm hoping that they do actually give us more of that. I could really see this turning into a franchise, and I would be down for that, because I think they definitely have a really interesting idea of this world overall, and I'd love to see what they do with it. Also, in terms of the action scenes in this movie, they are pretty damn great. I mean, you've seen a lot of them in the trailer, but they really are fantastic. They really do add to the heightened tension and things like that, particularly the one scene that everyone's seen in the trailer involving the plates and that whole kitchen fight. It really is fantastic. And even though you know what's going to go down, just seeing what happens and seeing, you know, what STEM can do, how much Gray really evolves in terms of his strength and things like that, it really is incredible to see. And for the most part, it is actually in camera. It's not like shaky. Again, the movie isn't taking itself that seriously, but it really does go all out when it comes to the action sequences, and they are by far some of the best I think I've seen all year, and I think you should see the movie just alone for these action sequences in general. The score here is also really great. It's very sort of synthy, and I think it works very well here. And then the editing, like I said, I did feel the movie was just a bit too short. They definitely could have, you know, added a few more minutes to it, maybe like 20 or 30 more minutes. The movie could have been at least like an hour and 40 minutes. I think I would have felt a little bit more satisfied, just because, like I said, some of the characters, I just didn't feel as attached to them. I liked them, it's not like I didn't, but I didn't feel as attached to them as the movie really wanted me to. And they do go through some really interesting stuff. Also, the twist in this movie, I really was not expecting. I thought it was honestly really well done. It could have come across as really corny, but the way they did it actually made a lot of sense, and it makes me genuinely interested in where they could go in future films, because a lot of people have said this definitely is kind of like a Terminator or a RoboCop, where you definitely could do more with this future, and that's why I'm really hoping this film is a success, because I do want it to do well. I do want people to see it. There aren't too many films like this out there. I'm sure there have been ones of this kind before, but nothing really this major in a while, and I think this is definitely a film that a lot of people really do need to see. It's original, it's not based off of previous source material, and I think it's just a really cool idea overall. Upgrade is just the definition of a very entertaining summer film. This is really everything that I want when I go to see a summer movie. It's a film that, honestly, the more I think about it, it really does get better and better. Logan Marshall Green is fantastic here. Definitely, I think he's going to get more attention after this film. The effects, the world building, just everything is so well realized. It really is one of the biggest surprises that I've had with any movie this year. I expected to like it, but not on the level that I really did. It's easily some of the most fun I've had at the movies all year. It's easily one of the most entertaining films I've seen all year. It's a film I definitely do recommend you guys see. I don't think it's quite as great as everyone's been saying, but it definitely is a very enjoyable film, and I am going to give Upgrade overall a B+. So over, guys, in my review of Upgrade, let me know what you guys thought. Overall, left your thoughts on it. Like I said, definitely check out this one, guys. I know it really has not gotten a lot of attention. Even on TV, I really have not seen too many, like, TV spots or anything for it, and I really do hope that changes. You know, Blumhouse is honestly really killing it. You know, besides things like Truth or Dare, they really are killing it, but when it comes to, like, original films, they really are doing a fantastic job, and I think definitely moving forward, this is definitely the kind of stuff they need to be doing, and I do hope this film does get attention, because I'd love to see more from it. But either way, guys, this is my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in my next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.